There we go.
Oh boy. What's up, guys? 40 Grit here. 40 Grit Guitars. Thanks for coming in. Monday night here in Phoenix. Just wanted to jump in and maybe talk about some of the big M3 stuff for this weekend. So it was a big weekend. I had some time off this weekend, so I was kind of lucky to jump in and watch the Roth show, watch the DeMartini show, work on a guitar, which is cool. We'll talk about it. Some guitar tech stuff, some cool guitar tech stuff that I found interesting, and we'll talk about some maybe some parts and stuff, some parts, interesting things that came up for me this weekend when I was working on a guitar. So anyways, thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys spending some time and stopping by. And if you have any questions or anything, had a lot of questions this week on lots of people advising me of new product. Lots of people asking me about just setups and parts and stuff. So again, I super appreciate all of your interaction with regards to the guitar stuff. Fun to help you guys out, and it also keeps me on my toes. I can dissect your questions and then sit there and think about how I would do it. So anyways, keeps me on my toes, so I appreciate it. Hey, I'm going to throw a poll in here real quick. I'm not sure if you guys saw some of the shows for this weekend, but I want to throw this poll in before I get touching into the in the chat and everything. So my poll for this evening consists of if you watched, what show did you enjoy more? The David Lee Roth show. The reason why I'm only using these two, I know that Winger played. I know that some other bands I have interest in played. These are the two shows that I watched from beginning to end. So just wanted to throw this poll in here just to get a feel for what you guys think, and just curious as to what your thoughts are. So anyways, the poll for tonight is what show did you enjoy more, the David Lee Roth show, the Piercy DeMartini show, or who cares? So if you could jump in there and just throw that in, I would like to see what your thoughts are on that stuff. So anyways, let me jump in the chat here real quick, and then I made a list tonight, and I'm sure that hopefully you guys have some stuff for me, questions or whatever, or maybe I have questions for you. Let me jump in here real quick and say hello to everybody, and then we'll get going. Darren, what's up, man? Hey, thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate your always being here, and appreciate your love for DeMartini, because I'm pretty in love with the cat too. Chuck C, what's going on, man? Thanks for being here. Let's talk some guitar. I agree. Let's talk some guitars tonight. Ronnie Parker, thanks for being here, bro. Appreciate it. Tim Thomas. Cushman in the house. Hey, man. Appreciate you being here. How you doing? Alls G, I don't remember you being in my chat before, but if you're new, welcome, sir. Appreciate you being here. And if you changed your username or something, let me know. Tim Thomas, what up? Randy Price, there's my buddy. There's Randy. There's my boy. My son's on travel, so he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to jump in, but looks like he's here. So Nathan will be assisting with the moderation stuff. Metal Cop, hey dude, what's up? How you doing, man? I referred everybody over for your. Hopefully, you guys checked out the Ernie Ball PV Wolfgang comparison on Metal Cop's channel. Check out his channel. He's got some really good stuff on there. Really good stuff. Jimmy Biter, what's up, man? I got to catch a little bit of the show on Sunday, and as always, you guys are just killing it. So great show, and yeah, thanks for the Phase 90. It's right there. Phase 90. Randy, Tim Cushman, Greasy Monkey Guitars, it looks like. What's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Guitar Talk Universe, I believe that's Quentin. You're live on GT. Oh, cool, man. Thanks for streaming that. I appreciate it. Tim Thomas is there. Darren wouldn't miss it. It would miss it. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Johnny Rasmussen, how you doing, man? Stu Petty, how's it going? Thanks for your emails this week. Appreciate your interest in always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Rich A5150. Hello, it's been a while since I've been here live. Cool, man. Well, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I don't know how long I'll be on, but we'll jump in and we'll see if we can keep me on here for a couple hours talking about guitar stuff. So let's see here. Johnny Rasmussen, the guitar player Roth has tearing it up. Okay. That's number one on my list. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate it. Let's see. The poll right now is at 71% DeMartini and 14% Roth. Okay. So, and guys, feel free to chime in. I'm going to go in and out, but I really want to talk about the Roth thing, and I really want to talk about the the Pierce DeMartini. So, initial take on the Roth when I turned it on is that's the drum riser from 2015. Initial bang, I saw the drum riser. I said, okay, that's the drum riser from the 2015 tour. Is that on loan from Al? Did Roth take that with him? What's doing there? It's a question I have. But if it's on loan from Al, it makes me wonder if that's where maybe there's support there or something there with regards to that. It's the same drum riser as the 15 tour. Trust me, I dissected it, and I thought that was interesting. That was the first thing I saw. Second thing I saw was is he had backup singers, which I found interesting. Not a bad idea, but I found that it was interesting. Either way, same band that he has used in the past, same guy, same drummer, same bass player, same guitar player. Al Estrada. If you don't know Al Estrada, I worked, and if you don't know, I worked for John Surf for almost 4 or 5 years, and Al Estrada was a regular in the shop. He did a lot of stuff for John. Whenever John needed a Van Halen guy to come in and like lay down a SL68 clip or something, Al Estrada was the guy. Al Estrada is a beast. So yes, I totally agree with you, Johnny Rasmussen. The guitar player for Roth, Al Estrada, was tearing it up. And I had an in-depth conversation with my buddy about the difference between the time that I don't know if it's fair to compare, but it also is a thing that makes you go, moment with regards to the direction that Sammy's taken with playing the Van Halen stuff, not note for note, and Al Estrada putting the time in and nailing everything. I found the volume. I'm not sure if you guys were watching him closely. I was. I found the volume control that he used very interesting. Instead of any kind of boost or anything, he's using a volume pedal, which I found interesting. The control that he had on that volume pedal was pro, and Al Estrada is a pro. So, anyways, if you don't know who that is, check out Al Estrada. He's been in a lot of Van Halen tribute bands. He's played for some guys, and he's a really cool guy. And I've met him and talked to him pretty frank and just kind of hung out with him because the guy that sat in back of me, Jay Medor, him and Jay were really good friends. And when he stopped in, he would stop off and hang out with Jay and talk. And then, I would kind of like push my chair across and try to get it in the conversation. And just Al Estrada is a great guy. So yeah, great guitar player, fantastic guitar player. And I felt that the first part of the set list wasn't as good as the second half. The second half was it was like one after another, bang, bang, just nailing it. I thought it was cool how he played the intro to Mean Street. there was just so many cool things, tips of the hat to add that I thought were cool. And I just, hats off to Al Estrada for the Roth show. So, um, again, if you don't know that's Al Estrada, that's Al Estrada. So nice guy, great guitar player, blah, blah, blah. Darren says Warren and Carlos busted out a good one. Not only did Warren and Carlos bust out a good one, but they also busted strings. I'm not sure if you saw that. Carlo busted the first one right before Way Cool Jr. And Warren was kind of just sitting there noodling and keeping his eye on Carlos. And then as soon as Carlos was go, he gave the nod. Warren gave the nod, said, "Oh, okay, good." And then he went right into Way Cool Jr., which I thought that was cool that he gave him time. I saw that Carlos was sitting over on the corner tuning himself, and just the guitar guy and me, I was losing my mind going, "Oh my God." Like, where's the backup guitar? Oh my God, where's the, I was just kind of freaking out a little bit being a guitar tech, which I've been, like kind of going, oh my God, and then at the end of the show, when they handed their guitars off, a guy came and took his guitar. So I'm assuming he's got a guitar tech. I know that, when Warren busted his string during the first, the beginning of Lay It Down, he swapped and he busted the B string, and you saw it just kind of like flopping. And he went over, and John Thayer, who I interviewed a couple weeks ago, he handed him his James Dean Red tribute, the Charvel. So recommendation: got to have more than two guitars. I mean, if Warren's traveling with two guitars, Warren should have four guitars, two guitars set to half step down, and two guitars set to drop D. So then, and he's got those four guitars because he could break out Bomber, Skull and Blood, Hallmark. I understand. I texted John and asked him if the performance was making a debut, and he said it was not. So performance was not in the performance snakeskin. DeMartini was not in the house. He's probably got something with Charvel where Charvel doesn't want him playing that guitar, which I totally understand. He did a lot of press for with the Charvel, doing press with the Duncan stuff. And I totally understand why he probably doesn't want to break out the performance right now, as much as I would love to see it. I love that guitar. I like how the arm contour is ripped off. I love how there's a ton of history with that guitar. So would I love to see that guitar? Yes, I would like to see that guitar. But Warren, if you're watching, we got to get you a couple more guitars so we have some backup, so you can get out there quicker, and we can make sure that you're good to go. Or you ever thought about doing a guitar build of Lynch's Exciter guitar? No, not a bad idea, but no, that's not a bad idea. No, cool guitar. It's a cool pickup. I mean, like, either way you go, I'm kind of wanting to I was debating when I got this new guitar, putting a custom in it or putting the exciter in it and going with a ceramic magnet. But at the end of the day, I went with what I know. It's like putting on, it's like grabbing a new pair of shoes. You just don't know if you want to put them on yet. So you just go ahead and go with the old ones. I just haven't got there yet. So Milcop says, yeah, thanks for the shout out. I'll be returning the favor of my video this week, Friday noonish. Oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate that. John was there for the rescue. Man, could you, I texted John before the show. I said, hey man, I have a great one. He said, yeah, thanks. And then I texted him and I said, hey man, great show. And he said, thanks. So, yeah, John was there for the rescue, wasn't he? Yeah. Warren needs more guitars, man. That's not on John at all. That's on Warren. Warren needs more guitars for the show. And I know it comes down to traveling and it comes down to flying somewhere and everything else. But hey, man, I remember playing gigs and breaking a string and I could finish the song. But as soon as I saw what string he broke, I said, he's got to switch guitars. He has no choice, because the B, he would have to switch, because he can't drop down to the G for those bends, he can't do it. And it's good that that John was there. Yes, John was there for the save. It's so funny. That's so funny. He was there for the rescue. Ronnie Parker, do you mean the weird guitar with the homemade camo? Yeah, it's also known as the sub guitar. I believe that's the one he's talking about. The sub guitar is what the orange one. So I assume that's the one he's talking about. If he's not, please let me know what guitar we're referring to. I pretty much know Lynch's guitars, so I'll be able to I'll be able to jump in there. Cushman saying hello to Greasy Monkey. I went to Piercy and I went with Percy. Oh, you went with, okay. You went with, yeah, polls at David Lee Roth, 11%, Piercy at 74, and the one I enjoy, Who Cares, at 16%. Ronnie Parker says, Metal Cop, Star. Let's see here. I went with Piercy. Yeah. I understand. I also went with DeMartini. I've been on a real kick for him for a while now. It's tough not to be on a kick with it's tough to not be on a kick with DeMartini right now, because first of all, I also noticed that his stage presence was a lot more comfortable. He was a lot more comfortable. He has been working on his chops, and I will tell you the coolest part for me on the Rat Show was when they went into Never Use Love, which is on Invasion of Your Privacy, and it's a cool tune, and it was cool to hear that. It was cool to hear Never Use Love. So yeah. So with regards to David Lee Roth recap, like I said, the beginning of the set list wasn't all that great, in my opinion. It got a lot better throughout the, in the second half of the set list. The Rat show, when the show started and the Rat came up with that poster, I have that poster. I was going to break it. I forgot to break it out today. I was going to have it sit back here with the Rat, with the electrodes do its brain, and it's just so. I saw that poster. I was like, oh man, it's just so cool seeing that, with him. And you could see that the banter between DeMartini and Piercy was good. Like, he was like saying stuff, and I'm not sure if you guys caught this, but Piercy was singing some stuff that he wasn't comfortable singing, and he was even voicing it, going, "Oh man, what are you guys gonna do to me now?" Like he's like looking at the set list, going to see what's next and stuff. And I thought it was funny, like the like the back and forth banter, and then you saw like Warren smile a couple times, and I thought that Piercy did a really good job of keeping the crowd. The crowd interaction was good. The band played great, and if when you break a string, I'm not even sure if I finished what I was going to say, but there were times, and when I would try to finish the song, if I broke a string, because my bridges were always blocked, and I didn't have to worry about a floating bridge or anything. So I knew that I would be good. I would just have to make it through the through the song and then swap guitars. But I was the goofball, like you see on the Instagram posts for the loadouts and stuff. Guitar player shows up and he's got 50 guitars. I was that guy. I always took like 6. I think I got that Unitech Road case right here. 1, 2, 3. I had 6 slots, so I would take 6 guitars just to load them up and have it look cool on my side. That was just me being dumb and thinking I was something that I wasn't. But it was cool to go to the gigs, because there'd always be that guitar player guy that would come over and take a look at what's inside the guitar case, and try to spark up a conversation or whatever. I'd always sit there and talk to the guys and bullshit about guitars and stuff. So yeah, that was cool to see him break a string, and it was cool to see John jump on it, and it was cool to see them work it all out. So that was cool. Get back in the chat here. Greg Miller says, "What up, 40? Thanks for the help today on the Bengal." Yeah, no problem, man. He texted me about block size and what should he use. Block sizes, I very rarely use a 32. And if I do have a 32, I always try to find a way to manipulate a 37, and maybe 5% of the time I'll throw a 42 in something, just because what I'm finding is the 42s. I usually have a problem putting the back plate back on if I want to put the back plate back on. So usually 37 is the baby for me these days. And whenever I see used 37 blocks on eBay, the brass ones, I just grab them. I got one the other day for like $12. So a Floyd Rose brass block 37. So I also got a huge bag of Grover Schaller strap locks, 75 of them. And I think I got them for like $50. And I was like, why isn't anybody buying this? And it came with the felts. It came with 75 felts. And then a guy had another bag of felts, 300, I think it was, the same seller. And I just bought the whole thing. I go, hey, bro, would you do this? And he said, yes. And I got everything on Saturday and it was perfect. And I like I really like the DiMarzio clip lock. But I don't like leaving those clips on the guitars when they're sitting in the cases, so I end up pulling them off. But I think I don't think I have any clip lock on anything anymore. I think I pretty much switched everything out. But yeah, the DiMarzio clip locks are cool, like on the Nudo Betancourts. And then I like the Schallers. I'm not a big fan of the Dunlops. I just don't like. I'm just not a, you are or you aren't, and I'm definitely not a Dunlop guy. So let's see here. Did you get something? Did Warren get something in his eye? Did you notice that? No, I didn't. But I'm sure I'm going to be watching it again tonight as soon as I get done here, because my gal will go to bed and I will stay up and watch. I will watch it again. And I'll be looking out for that. What else cool did I see? I don't know. I just really like seeing Warren and his moves, his trademark moves that he does, which me and my buddy are familiar with. He does a little, we call it the fairy dance, but it's not he's not, it was just like a share, like, I don't know how he came up with that, but I know when we first saw it, it was at Pinky's in Las Vegas. We went to, they were playing with Jizzy Pearl, and he walked up on the stage and like he shuffled his feet like this to like maybe get a grasp of how that, and it was almost like he lifted up and like did like a little, we call it the fairy dance. So it was funny, and I think I caught that last night. And he always like stretches his arm. I like how I don't know if he's stretching his arm or if that's just his move. And he's always got the one where he rests it on his leg and holds it up. Those he's doing his signature moves, which I love the guy. So it's so cool to see him back, and it's cool to see him back. So Randy Prices, I don't think I've ever put a back plate back on. I do, and to be honest with you, I probably would have yesterday on this guitar that I bought, but the body had shrunk so much. It's a metal back plate and it won't fit. So I either have to sand it down to put it back on. I've got room there to put it back on, or I'm just going to leave it off. It looks really good with it off. I'll show you guys here in a minute, but I just wanted to catch up in the chat before I move forward here. Randy also says, I use a Diodario auto lock strap, no modifications required. Is that the one that clips? You put it on and it just clips. I think that might be the one that you put on and it just clips. So those are cool. I bought those Fender rubber things you put on. You put the strap on and you put it over it and it locks it. So that's no modifications as well. I don't want to I'll just talk about it. Let's see if anybody else is in here with any questions or anything. Okay. Mr. Mick, hey man, welcome in. And let's see here. Andy Carson, welcome in. Thanks for being here, pal. Appreciate it. And Randy Price says, yeah, that's it. So those Diodario auto lock straps, they just click on and you click and then it locks everything. Poll at David Lee Roth holding at 14%, DeMartini and Piercy at 68, and the Who Cares has actually grown to 18 from 16. That's sacrilege. You could be using your vote for DeMartini and Piercy. So this is the Chub Tone. The Chub Tone that I purchased. So let's talk about the Chub Tone. I got it, and it was hammered. Been sitting for a very long time, very dried out. Fret sprout was ridiculous. You can tell that the body that the body is shrunk because the wood is shrunk, and that impacts the paint. Not necessarily terribly, but you can see where the body is shrunk and the paint's been affected by it. I did contact Chub Tone on this to see. I told him that I had gotten it, and he said, "Oh yeah, man, Oreo cookie. That's a good build. This is number 30." And there's really no reason to put a back plate back on it. I mean, it looks cool without it. I did block the bridge. You can see it in there. I did block the bridge, put the brass block on it. I have all kinds of room to put the back plate back on it. And she set up well with black springs. So, what did I have to do on this? I let it acclimate for a good 4 days before I started filing on the frets, because I wanted to see how shrunk it was. You know, maple will absorb pretty quick. The one that takes forever to acclimate is oh, and by the way, my picture, I was looking at the intonation on the picture, and I just put the Floyd Rose back together, so the intonation on the thumbnail for the live is the intonation isn't set. So I was like, yeah, I put it back together, and whenever I do like a major surgery, which I call it, I let them sit for a while before I go into the next step of setting it up. I usually let it sit overnight and let everything, fall in as it may. Um, yeah, I let this acclimate for a couple days before I started filing. And then I got the fret sprout done. I cleaned up the fret ends. I checked everything for level. There's no fret wear on this guitar at all. It's a 14-inch radius, jumbo frets. Um, it's the asymmetrical neck. It feels asymmetrical to me. I want to say it's like it's very similar to the Ernie Ball Van Halen feel. Lots of shoulder on the bass side, minimal shoulder on the treble side. So, and it plays great, and it's an R2 nut, and it is what it is. But I have this guitar tune standard, and the bends are effortless. So I probably won't be putting a tool pack on the back of this just because of the bird's eye. I mean, the bird's eye on this neck is crazy. I mean, it's got really good bird's eye. I really don't want to go screwing a tool pack onto the back of this, so I won't. But this was Chub Tone number 30, so older guitar. Let's see. So like I said, it had been sitting, shrunk. Came with a super distortion. I pulled it. I was going to go with a ceramic Seymour Duncan. Decided to go with the tone zone, which was interesting because I sat there and watched Pete Thorne yesterday, and he's talking about tone zones. And and if you don't want to use a tone zone, what's a good pickup to use? And he was talking about Pariah, and I commented about if you want to talk about a good, if you don't want to use a tone zone, a good pickup would also be a SSH Plus, John Sir. So if you're looking for something different, just to throw something different in there, try that SSH Plus. Randy Price is looking at this guitar going, hold on a second, where's the tone vise? So we'll get to that. Floyd Rose, older Floyd Rose, tore it apart, cleaned it up. It really wasn't that bad. Installed the detuner on it. I pulled it off and put a tone vise on it, and then put the detuner back on it, but I'll get to that. So if you guys have messed around with the tone vise, I'm going to go through all that. It did have a brass knob on it. I thought it looked better with black. I asked let's put Ed in there. It's cool. I did ask my better half about the knob, and she said, yes, definitely black. So I went with black knob, and it's a cool guitar. I like Chub Tone's logo, and I like Chub Tone's back plates. I think they're cool. Neck plates. I think they're cool. They're brass. And then they have a brass jack too, which I put a Pure Tone, I think they're called. I like those Pure Tone jacks. They're cool. I didn't really know much about them. A guy named Ron Gunner from another show had kind of turned me on to those, and I checked them out, and they're cool. So I've been using those. They're check out the Pure Tone jacks. They're cool. Um, let's see what else. Alignment was off a little bit, but it was off to treble. So I sanded the bass side and got the alignment perfect. Alignment's perfect. I should go out and weigh it. It's surely not an 8-pound guitar. I would probably say 7, 8, somewhere around there, 7, 6. But still a great weight and a great playing guitar for the gig. So this one turned out really good, and which will take me to the which I'll probably just jump back in the chat. But anyway, any questions on this guitar? Cool guitar. I'll probably I'm not really selling anything right now. I mean, I do need to sell some stuff. I really need to sell some stuff. But if you guys have watched any of my shows and you're interested in any guitars, let me know. But I surely won't be selling that one. That's a really good one. That guitar turned out really good. So let me jump back in the chat and then we'll move on to the next. I use clip locks as well. Swapped them out for all my shallers. Well, if you have shallow strap buttons you want to get rid of, man, let me know. I'll buy them in bulk because you can never have enough of those. Randy Price, no modifications, correct? Yeah, I get it. Sometimes it's good not to go pulling those screws out of the body, especially on basswood. You do that a bunch of times, you're going to run into problems. So. Said hi to Mr. Mick. Said hi to Andy Carson. Randy, hey, what's up? Garrett, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? Garrett Overstreet, Sustained Guitars. How you doing, man? Nice to see you. Let's see here. Mr. Mick says, I also use a Fender rubber grommet on my straps. I like those too. I think they're cool. Again, I'm assuming that this magical day is going to come one day where somebody says, we need a guitar player. Are you available? And I'm going to be like, yeah, sure. And they're going to send me the set list. I'm going to have to learn everything. And I'm going to wish I wouldn't have obligated myself. But the chances of me stepping on a stage again are probably 0.0. And like somebody said in the chat on Pete Thorne yesterday, I never play guitar standing up. It's just uncomfortable. I don't play guitar standing up anymore. I'm always sitting down when I'm playing. But I do remember the days when I gigged and I rehearsed in my guitar room with my mic stand in front of me and standing up. And I rehearsed standing up. That was important. So if you're a gigging guitar player, you should probably rehearse. And I had on an iPod all of our songs. So I would practice throughout the week and I would just play set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4. And then just play along with it, and just, figure out fills or whatever I wanted to do. And, that was a good time. So, the things we did when we were younger. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Stu Petty says, nice guitar. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. That is a cool guitar. Andy Carson said that thing is sweet, man. It is a sweet guitar. I appreciate that. I mean, I think it is a sweet guitar. I saw it and I was like, oh, he wanted $2,400 for it. I still think I overpaid for it, but either way, the guy said he had listed it a bunch of times and really didn't want to sell it. And after playing it, now I know why he did want to sell it. So I appreciate the guy that sold it. And I will not buy another Chub Tone. I've got the Vanilla Shake, which is right there. And then I've got the Oreo cookie now, which is a single hum, which I think is probably the coolest guitar in the universe. But that one has a hum single, which is probably the runner up for me personally. But yeah, thanks, Andy. Cool guitar. Chuck C says he puts a tone zone in he put a tone zone in the Chub Tone. So that guitar sounds fantastic with that tone zone in there. Alder body for sure. I can tell by the shrinkage. I can tell what's under the paint. And Shirley Alder. The weight, the density, I can feel that it's Alder. So I know it's Alder, and tone zone is usually a pretty good match for Alder. So good point, Mr. Mick. I use a hex hider. I've got some of those too, the magnetic ones that just magnetize to your tuner. That's a great idea. I do have some extra ones out there. I appreciate that, because now I won't feel guilty about not having them on there. I'll just go out there and put a hex hider on there, and then I'll feel just as good about it. I'll feel just as good about that. So let's see here. Stu Petty says black, probably talking about the volume knob. Black is the way to go. Rich says just put one of the pure tone jacks on my black Frenchie as well as a and see. Yeah, me too, man. That's a DiMarzio in that. I love those DiMarzio 500Ks. They're fantastic. Very similar to the CTS that we used to get. CTS probably does make them for DiMarzio. I mean, let's just the back of them look familiar, and they CTS probably makes those for DiMarzio, but those are the same pots that we used at Sir, and I think that's why I like them, because they're not tight, but they're not Bourne's loose. They're not EVH loose. So I like the DiMarzios. There will probably come a day when I swap out some of those Bourne's EVH pots for the DiMarzios, just because sometimes they're a little too loose, especially on the guitars that you want to back off on the volume. It's usually good to have maybe a little more resistance there, especially if you're playing live. Because like I said, when I used to play live with my Wolfgangs, I would reach out and go, man, where'd my volume go? Or why is my tone messed up? Or, and those early Wolfgangs came with a 500K and a 250K in low resistance. So if you're like moving around and stuff on the stage, you'd reach down and your volumes will be turned like halfway down. So I just stopped using the Wolfgangs live and went to the CTS. I went to CTS for all my gigging guitars. Which reminds me, the pink guitar, I need to break my pink Charvel out, because that was one of my like great players, and it's in the closet and it just needs to come out. It needs to be breathing. So I need to get that guitar out. Did I practice my scissor kicks? Never quite mastered that one, buddy. Never quite mastered that one. I wish I could have. I mean, that would be that'd be cool. I wish I could do that. The poll is at 68% DeMartini if you haven't seen it, and Ross at 16, and Who Cares is at 16. So Who Cares is holding steady at 16. Rich says they remind me of the PRS pots also. It had a EVH, and it was way to free turning. So maybe similar is what he's saying. Those Bourne's pots, man, sometimes they get really loose. The Bourne's pots, in my opinion, are really good with a fender knob, like a plastic witch hat knob. But man, once you go to anything else other than that, if you go to a metal knob, like one of those brass knobs, that knob's going to get turned down. That knob's going to get turned down. So you have to be careful with that stuff. You got to be careful with that stuff. So, okay. So I have a housekeeping moment. Brent Woods, guitar player for Sebastian Bach, Vince Neil, and now he's with Gene Simmons. I saw him play with Gene Simmons the other night. Brent Woods also played with Piercy at a show, and he plays a Black Les Paul, and he's a great guitar player. And I was talking about him the last live show, and I think that somebody may have said his name, but I didn't know what his name was. So I wanted to jump in there and correct that, because he's certainly worthy of me correcting his name, and certainly worthy for you guys to check out. Brent Woods, great guitar player. And if you know about him already and I'm the last one on the bus, then I understand as well. So another housekeeping, Tom Weber, Eddie Van Halen's guitar tech, the bald guy who was with Ed for a while. He's now with Neil Giraldo, which I found interesting. Neil Giraldo, in my opinion, is a fantastic guitar player, and just so well-rounded, like Tim Pierce well-rounded, just like a great, just great. And I saw that Tom Weber's with him now, and I thought that that was really cool. So, just something to talk about. Hold on a second here. Darren's got a question. Didn't John Thayer say everything is tuned E flat? It is. When he dropped tuned rescue to D, did he drop it to D flat? Or was a guitar? Those guitars aren't in standard tuning. There's no way Piercy's range isn't there. So I think he's tuned to D flat, which would or E flat, and then that means that his detuner goes to C sharp. So I think that's what the tuning is right now. Yeah, Thayer said everything is tuned to E flat. That's correct. So if he drops the D down, a full step, it drops to C sharp. So yeah. I thought that was an interesting moment because the camera goes off of DeMartini, and I saw DeMartini standing back by John with his guitar in his hand, and then the camera goes away and you don't see, what happened there. But I thought that was unfortunate. I mean, shoot, me and John sat here and talked about, hey, what's the craziest thing that ever happened to you? Or hey, pressure's on. Like when the spring popped off of George's, or actually John's, Sunburst Tiger, that I've guitar teched before. I've guitar teched for my buddy who used to play big shows in Vegas. They were Metal Elvis was the number one tribute band in Vegas. I forgot what year, but I went out and teched for him every show. Whenever they had a big show out there, I would go out. And he had some big shows. And when something doesn't go right, that's a lot of pressure. And you're sitting there going, oh my God, I'm sure the longer you do it, your reaction, I'm sure John's like reaction time is like quick, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it's got to be, because that musician's being paid to perform, and if your guitar tech isn't like ready to go, that's a problem. So John's a pro, man. I mean, like I'm sure he was ready to go. But in John's defense, I would highly recommend Warren get some more guitars, because think about it, man. If you have two different tunings, you got to have 4 guitars, right? Unless you're just sitting there going, okay, well, he's down a half step right now, so I'll just go ahead and tune this 1.5 step down for these next 2 songs in case he breaks a string. And at the end of those 2 songs go back up to flat. I don't know if I would do that. I think I think that DeMartini needs to think about that. So anyways, let's see what else we got in the chat. Let's get off that. Okay. So the other thing I had was, okay, so polls at 65%, 15, and 19. Oh, who cares? Is going up at 19. That's awesome. Let's go to this. Let me see the Chub Tone. Let's see. Share this. Not sure if you guys are looking for a SA 126, but I have one. I have a black one, and it's awesome. And this one's on Reverb now for $13.95 in purple. So if you're looking for a purple one, cool guitar. Let's see here. So yeah, it says brand new, newer, never gauge, comes with hard shell case. So that's a deal as well, because those. Oh no, they come with a hard case. So yeah, they got that beige one. There's actually one sitting right there. I got a flat black one. I did a walk around on it. If you haven't seen it, they're cool guitars. Let's see here. Let's get off that. Let's see here. Ronnie Parker says, I thought that documentary of Piercy going back to his childhood home was really interesting. It was deja vu from. Yeah, it was cool where they practiced that. Yeah, I watched that. It was really cool. Yeah, if you haven't seen that, maybe I'll try to find it and I'll throw it inside the notes for this show. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, it was cool in San Diego. Yeah. all those guys, Warren's done several interviews saying that I went to Guitar Trader. I used to go to Guitar Trader for everything. So it's cool that I saw Lynch perform live at Guitar Trader. And, the Guitar Trader was the place to go in San Diego. So Darren said he had him reset and playing in 30 to 40 seconds. Yeah. Well, he's a pro. That's what he's got to do. That's what he's got to do, man. That's what you got to do. So let's see here. Kevin, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's talk about Tone Vise here real quick. So if you're not familiar with Tone Vise, it's just an alternative to a detuner. And I bought one because I thought that it might be cool to try one out. And if you're not familiar, I'll present this right now. We can look at it together. This turns. So instead of pulling out, it turns. So are there some benefits to this? Yes, there's some benefits. It turns up and down instead of in and out. It turns up and down. So I went to set it up last night, read the instructions, and I felt that it was working really good. The only thing that I figured out after a few minutes is when you're tuned to standard, when you have the Tone Vise logo up and you're in flat tuning or standard tuning or whatever, your fine tuner knob is useless. You can't use your fine tuner knob. The only time you could use a fine tuner knob is when you drop it down the full step again, and then you can adjust. So I don't know about the Tone Vise. I may talk to Randy about it some more because I know that Randy's got them and Randy spoke highly of them, and that's why I got one. But I will say that the Tone Vise was on the Chub Tone for a few minutes and I got off it, put the detuner back on because I tweaked those detuners and they're fantastic. So, let's see here. Let's get back in the chat here real quick and see what's going on here. Okay, so let's see. That's all I had for this evening. Just wanted to jump in and say hi to you guys and talked about Tone Vise, talked about the Chub, talked about the Van Halen stuff, talked about everything. I think I hit everything I wanted to hit, so I appreciate you guys being here. I got a couple days off here, so I think I might do a walk around on a couple guitars, and maybe I'll go out and weigh the Chub Tone. And it puts some weight on that. I really don't have anything else doing. I do need to block the Bengal, the ESP Bengal. I need to block the Skull and Blood. I got some nonsense jobs I can do. Maybe I'll go out and shoot a couple videos this week or something. So anyways, keep an eye on that stuff. Stu Petty says 30 to 40 seconds. That's pretty fast. It is pretty fast. Should always be ready. And John is ready. John's ready. So that's really all I have for this evening. Anybody else got anything you want to throw in? Any questions for me? If not, I'm going to go spend some time with my better half. And I really don't see anything else. So I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. I'll try to do, like I said, I'll try to do a walk around on something, and shout out to Randy Price for the always the great recommendations and being my pickup guy and questions and stuff like that. But let's see here. Stupid Rich says would dig a video on how you block the trems. All right, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do a video on blocking. I'll block the Bengal tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. I'll shoot that tomorrow. And then I think I may have done it already, but I'll do a fresh one just on the block tomorrow. So I appreciate you guys being here. Tune in for the video tomorrow, and then I'll probably catch you the next week for another live. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. See you guys later.